Thanks, Pam. I want to thank you all for coming out, and I want to say a special thank you to Kepler's and their staff for having me here. Independent bookstores like Kepler's are metropolises in the Republic of Letters, and they make an incalculable contribution to our community and our national intellectual life. And my goal is to deliver such a scintillating talk tonight. You buy my book. If you already have a copy, you buy copies for all your friends and family. But I ask that if you do that, you do it here at Kepler's and support the store and support our community. So now that I'm really getting started, let me just begin with one point of clarification. Question I get a lot is the correct pronunciation of the name Ayn Rand. And so I just would like to assure you all that, as I've learned in the course of my research, the correct pronunciation of her name is Ayn Rand. And I tell people a good way to remember this is that, in keeping with her philosophy, the correct pronunciation of her name rhymes with the word mine. So, Ayn Rand. Now, you may know Ayn Rand as a cheesy novelist beloved by generations of adolescents. There is a grain of truth in this stereotype, but what I argue in my book, Goddess of the Market, is that instead we should consider Rand the ultimate gateway drug to life on the American right. Now, in my book, I focus on two facets of her thought that have made her perennially appealing to those on the political right. The first is her defense of a minimal and limited government. The second is her celebration of unregulated free market capitalism. Now, Rand was also an atheist, something I'll touch upon later in my talk. But because she was an atheist, this is why I don't call her a conservative. Instead, looking at these other two aspects of her thought, her interest in limited government, her defense of capitalism, I place her on the political right, but consider her distinct from conservatives who are often religious. So what I do in my book is I describe Rand's life, the development of her thought, the way it changed and developed, the different people she met, and why readers were drawn to her and what they found in her work and why she's proved such a perennially appealing author for so many Americans. Now, in order to flesh out the story of her life, her thought, her ideas, and her impact, I drew upon years of research in her personal papers. And so, using materials such as unpublished writing, unpublished letters, her diaries, her journals, I used these to construct a really full and detailed picture of her life and times with this particular focus on aspects of her thought that had political appeal and salience. And so what I discovered as I did this research was that for many people, reading Rand was a transformative experience. And there's a kind of feverishness and intensity to her appeal that you may have experienced yourself. And I saw this again and again as I studied her work. So, for example, I read thousands of fan letters that she was received. I'd like to quote from one now. This is a young reader of Rand writing to her who says, quote, "About a month ago, I noticed how much I was talking about your books to my teachers and classmates. As a result of my enthusiasm, I have lost 2 friends. I am beginning to realize how unimportant these people are." Now, readers like this might move away from this intense engagement with Rand over time, but what stays with them are her ideas about government, about capitalism, about individualism. And so, as I show in the book, she's really become part of American political culture, part of the way we understand our world, we understand our government, we understand the society around us. So, let me begin with a basic question. Who is Ayn Rand?